Hey, can you turn that just in the counterclockwise just a fraction? Say counterclockwise. Stop. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. All right, the record shall show that all parties are present and the jury is seated in the courtroom, and we're going to have a witness who is going to be testifying via video, ladies and gentlemen. State may call your next witness. Thank you.
The witness is Brianna Nauka.
And that is you, ma'am?
Yes, that is.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Please lower your hand. Thank you. Go ahead when you're ready.
Can you state your name for the record, ma'am?
It is Brianna Noka.
So I'm sorry for mispronouncing your last name. It's
That's
no,
okay.
and that is N-O-W-K-A.
That is correct.
What do you do for a living, ma'am?
I am a forensic scientist.
So the good news is you don't have to explain that. I've had a couple other people do that for the jury. But you have a specific field that you work in. What is that, ma'am?
I am specifically a gunshot residue analyst.
What does that mean, gunshot residue analyst?
So that means I analyze evidence for gunshot residue. So whether that is clothing samples or stub samples, I will look at those for the presence of gunshot residue.
And what is gunshot residue?
So gunshot residue in the broadest sense refers to all of the particulate that comes from the discharge of a firearm. But when I am specifically talking about gunshot residue, I'm specifically referring to primer gunshot residue that comes from the primer cap located at the back of a cartridge.
Okay. So for your benefit, they've already heard from a firearms expert. She's explained a little bit about how bullets and primer occur like that. Is there anything that you feel like the jury would need to know about that from your standpoint about understanding this testimony?
So the most important thing is just knowing the elements that are in primer gunshot residue. So we are looking for lead, barium, and antimony all together in one particle.
So how is it that you look for something like that, man?
So we use what's called the scanning electron microscope, which sounds super complicated when you hear the name, but in reality, it is a computer-controlled microscope. So I look at a computer screen, and there are two parts to our analysis. First is the automated analysis. So I put the samples into the microscope, and I have to tell it what it's looking for and what it's doing. Once I do that, the microscope will basically scan over that surface. When it finds a gunshot residue related particle, so anything that contains lead, barium, or antimony, it will take a picture and mark its location on that sample. The reason for that is the second part to the analysis, which is the manual analysis, where I will look at what the microscope has found and decide, is that actually gunshot residue, or does it contain elements that are unusual or not typical for gunshot residue?
And you do that every time you do some form of gunshot residue analysis?
That is correct.
And you do that specifically for a private lab, do you not?
Correct.
Who do you work for?
I work for RJ Lee Group.
And how long have you worked for them?
I've been with them since July of 2023.
And when were you called upon to analyze some items that were submitted from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office here in Beaumont, Texas?
I was sent those samples in September of 2024.
And were you the one that primarily analyzed it?
That is
And
correct.
somebody else actually reviewed your work, correct?
Correct. We always have a technical reviewer that will look at everything from start to finish to make sure there are no mistakes or information that has been left out.
So what is it that this kind of testing is going to tell the jury?
So if a sample is positive for gunshot residue, that can mean one of three things. Either the person discharged a firearm, was in proximity to a discharging firearm, or came into contact with a surface that had gunshot residue on it. We can never say which one of those three happened. We can only tell you that it could be one of those scenarios.
So let's, and I know you just said it, but I want to repeat it. What's the first thing?
The first thing is if someone discharges a firearm.
I mean, they shot the firearm. The second one?
The second one is if they were in proximity to a discharging firearm.
So when we say proximity, is that like being in the same room, or is there a certain distance?
So under perfect conditions, so no airflow, fans, air conditioning, particles will land anywhere from 6 to 8 feet around the discharge of a firearm. But for example, if you're in really windy conditions, those particles can be farther from the firearm or closer.
So if it's contained within a building, it would fall within that 6 to 8 foot range.
Correct.
And the third thing?
The third is coming into contact with a surface that has gunshot residue on it.
So are there limitations as to the type of surface?
Not necessarily the type of surface, but for example, if that surface has been wiped down at all and there are no particles there, you can't be transferring particles from that surface onto yourself because there was nothing there in the first place.
So it can be either hard or soft, doesn't make a difference.
Not particularly. There are certain surfaces that will hold onto particles longer. For example, clothing, because it's very fibrous, tends to hold onto particles longer than, for example, a very smooth table that could be being touched often or wiped down often.
Is that also true? Would you put bedding into the same category as clothing as you just described?
Yes, I would.
So those two categories would hold on to it long.
Yes, usually fabrics, and especially the more fibrous the fabric is, for example, a sweater versus like a raincoat, a sweater will hold on to those particles longer.
Okay. So in preparation for your testimony today, did we send you some photographs of some exhibits we planned on handling?
Yes.
Do you have those photos with you?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Just to make sure, ma'am, you have been qualified as, and have you been qualified as an expert to testify in courts before about gunshot residue?
Yes, I have.
Has that been on few or many occasions?
I have had 14 occasions where I've been qualified as an expert.
Is any of those occasions included a court like here in Texas?
Yes, I have been qualified as an expert for the states of Delaware, New Jersey, Minnesota, Maryland, and as well as the country of Turks and Caicos.
How about here in Texas? Has that happened before?
I have not had the opportunity to testify for Texas before, so no.
So this is your first time?
Yes.
Then, Your Honor, we would move that she be recognized as an expert in this field of GSR testing.
Any objection? So granted.
All right, first time.
Yes.
So bear with me. I'm going to show some things on this cameraman.
Okay.
Show you what's marked as States Exhibit 29. Do you have a photograph of that item?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember receiving that?
Yes, I do.
And in fact, on that item, do we have your initials and the date that you dealt with it?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 30. I'm sorry. Remember getting this one?
Yes.
And I see your initials, I believe, there.
Yep.
Is the camera. And State's Exhibit 31.
Yes.
And your initials as well.
Correct.
Are these the items that you received that you did the testing on, ma'am?
Yes, that is.
And the contents within, correct?
Correct.
And the photographs that we sent you about these exhibits includes the items that we're going to pull out as well, right?
Correct.
Now, at this time, we would tender State's Exhibits 29, 30, and 31.
No one else is. Where she got them.
All right, ma'am, let me go into a little bit more detail. On States 29, what was contained within States 29? Do you remember?
In that manila envelope, inside of there was a gunshot residue evidence collection kit.
Was that this?
Yes,
Which was marked as 29A?
correct.
Within that,
And inside of there were 2 gunshot residue stubs, as well as a gunshot residue analysis information form.
that says 29B and C,
Correct.
as well as a form that was filled out.
Correct.
You took a photograph of that and labeled that as 29D. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's this, yes?
Yes.
So as far as these items, by example, were you the only one that handled these items?
That is correct. The initials that are on them is the date that I opened them, and then the initials on the tape seal is the date that I sealed everything back up.
All right, so let's make sure we've identified the items in States 30. Did it contain one of those forms?
Yes, it did.
Was that our marking States Exhibit 30C?
Yes, it was.
2 of the daubers, 30A and 30B?
Correct.
Nothing else in that envelope, correct?
That is correct.
Let's do that with 31, ma'am. Should I pull out the same items from here, just different numbers and all?
Yes.
Everyone A and B?
Yep.
Those are the daubers, right?
Correct.
That's what I'm calling them. Is that the right term?
The correct term for them is a gunshot residue stub.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me use a different term. And this is 31C. Is that the form?
That is correct.
If I called them stubs, would that be okay?
Yes.
All right, Judge, at this time I would tender States 29 with its contents, 30 in its contents, and 31 in its contents, and let's be specific. States 29 contains 29A, B, C, and D. 30 has A, B, and C. 31 has A, B, and C.
Objections to 29, 30, 31, A, B, C, and D, and A, B, C, and A, B, C. No objection.
And they are all admitted.
So those are the items that you looked at to prepare your report, correct?
That is correct.
That's what you analyzed.
Yes,
You prepared a report that was dated October 2nd, 2024.
that is correct.
That includes all your findings from the review of that evidence. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll show you what I marked as State's Exhibit 49. Is that the date and the style of this particular report?
That is, yes.
Is it a 4-page report if you count front and back?
Yes.
On the 3rd page, is that your signature
Yes, it is.
and the date that you signed it?
Yes.
Is it all truly and accurately depict your report and the contents of what you're about to testify to the jury?
Yes, it is.
We would tender State's Exhibit 49.
No objections to State's 49. Your Honor.
It is admitted.
Okay. So what'd you find?
So the samples labeled as coming from a Caitlin Stone. The left hand sample was considered to be positive for gunshot residue.
So does that mean that it fell into one of those 3 categories?
Yes, so sample is considered positive when it has at least one characteristic particle. So because that sample had 7 characteristic particles, it was considered positive.
Is there any significance to, say, a finding where there's 1 versus 7?
There is not, just due to the number of factors that can affect how long gunshot residue remains. Things like washing hands, touching surfaces, blood can all affect the number of particles that are then found.
And again, that was on Miss Stone's left hand.
That is correct.
I saw underneath that on your report, ma'am, that there was a total of 2 component particles and a number.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So 2 component particles can come from the discharge of a firearm, but they do have other sources in the environment. When those 2 component particles are found with characteristic particles, that provides support showing that those 2 components likely came from a firearm.
Okay. Is it possible that if we don't have the particles from that initial number, that these component particles could come from something else?
That is correct. If you do not have a characteristic particle, we can't 100% say that those 2 components didn't come from other sources.
Is that the kind of finding that you had with the samples from Cody Arnold?
Yes, that right hand sample was found to have 2 component particles.
So tell the jury what that means.
So that means those particles could come from a discharge of a firearm, but they do have other sources, and we can never say which it possibly came from.
So what are examples of other sources?
So some other sources are things like fireworks, brake pads, some ceramics, and then there's even some weird sources out there like a bird parasite treatment. So it's a variety of different things.
So would they be things that are just common in the average room, or has it got to be something really particular like the items you just listed?
It's more particular. That's the reason they are listed versus there are 1 components that come from a discharge. So lead by itself, barium by itself, or antimony by itself. We don't report those because most people come into contact with that every single day. Whereas two components are a little bit more specific, but not so much so that we can definitively say where they come from.
Gotcha. All right, so that was you didn't find any other residue on Mr. Arnold's left hand, correct?
Correct.
And there was a test sample for a Calvin Arnold, and those were all clear.
Yes, those were both negative.
The only positives was the left hand of Caitlin Stone
Correct.
with the 2 numbers,
Yes.
and then one finding on Cody Arnold regarding component particles.
Correct.
Did I summarize it well?
Yes.
I did notice in your report that you said that those component particles can originate from other sources. None of that is actually listed in your report, isn't it?
That is correct.
But we also include for them, it looks like a page where it looks like the microscopic comparison is what the last page of your report is.
Yes, those are pictures of the characteristic particles found on Miss Stone's left hand. So that is actually what I'm looking at when I'm analyzing it on the microscope.
And it was just those images on Miss Stone.
Correct.
All right, thank you. That's what it is.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I want to talk to a little bit about the component to Mr. Arnold, Cody Arnold, the right hand. Okay.
Okay.
If he had a characteristic of GSR, which is 0 on the report,
Mhm.
no, we don't have it overrated. What does that indicate if it's 0?
So 0 means it was not positive for gunshot residue. Because it has those 2 components, it's considered inconclusive because I can't 100% say if it came from a discharge or another source.
So the 0 on the total particle characteristic of GSR in your report says there's no evidence.
Correct.
And the total 2 component particles could be anything.
Correct. Any of the sources that are known to create 2 component particles could be the reason for those there.
Endless.
Correct.
Were you given anything else besides these stubs to analyze? Any clothing, anything like that?
No, I was not.
Have you ever done clothing or material to see if there was GSR, or you could do the GSR testing on it?
Yes, in quite a number of cases, if samples from hands, too much time has passed, often clothing will be submitted to us instead due to it being able to hold on to particles longer.
Is there a number system that you use? For instance, in Caitlin Stone's left hand, you have on the GSR, you have 7, and on the 2 component, you have, is that greater than 6?
Yes, so the greater than or equal to 6, what that means is we as an analyst will only look at 10 of each type of 2 component. So lead, barium together, barium, antimony together, and lead and antimony together. Because we only look at 10, If there's more than that, we don't look at it. So we list that as greater than or equal to say, I didn't look at the rest, but these are the number that I confirmed.
And two, Mr. Arnold's. Same. And it is your testimony that based on the testing you did on Cody Arnold's, you can't determine anything.
Correct. It would be inconclusive.
Thank you. Pass the witness to me.
So, when Mr. Burbank was visiting with you, he asked you the question if those component particles that you listed as two, he asked you if there was an endless supply of things that could do that. And I heard you answer yes. Is that true?
There is a long list. It's something that actually can be looked up to see all the abilities, but it's not 100% endless, just due to it has to contain lead, barium, or antimony to be a two-component particle.
Is it fair to say that's a long list of things?
I wouldn't necessarily call it long. It's, I believe, around 10 things, at least as we know of, that can create those two-component particles.
Okay, so from my perspective, 10 is a lot less than endless.
Correct.
You remember what those 10 items are?
Not all of them off the top of my head, but like I listed before, the really well-known and more commonly in contact with ones are the fireworks, brake pads, and even things like certain ceramics.
Have you seen, in your field of expertise, have you seen anything other than those ones you're commonly just talked about?
No, we've not seen any sort of unusual other sources. The most common one that we tend to have overlap with is fireworks.
That is what the most common cause would be for those two component particles.
Correct.
Thank you, ma'am. Pass witness.
And you would agree with me that that source of whatever the particle is, 10 or whatever it is, can come from any type of environment, correct?
Not necessarily any sort of environment. It has to come from one of those sources that has those particles. So as long as you're in contact with something that could cause those particles, you might have it on you.
Well, for instance, if a subject was in a vehicle, truck or car, you could have it in the vehicle depending on where it's been and who's been in there and whether or not they did brake pads or whatever one of the 10 are, correct?
That is correct, yes.
If somebody was outside and had something on the porch that you picked up, it could come from there, correct?
Correct.
That's what I was talking about, environmental. Or the kitchen, right?
That is correct. If those particles are there, there is a possibility you may get them on your person.
So it's just not fireworks.
Correct. Fireworks are the most common that we come across, because they are commonly used, more than, for example, the bird parasite treatment.
And to substantiate that, usually there's a time limit to when law enforcement should try to get GSR samples, correct?
That is correct.
The best time is from 0 to 4 hours after it occurred, correct?
That is correct. The more time that passes, the more possibility to be removing particles or losing particles on other surfaces. So the sooner collection can occur, the better.
Or getting particles from another source.
That is correct.
And in fact, once you get to the 8 hours or more after the incident, you probably shouldn't have anything on there, or it's a rarity, correct?
That is correct. That's usually when we recommend clothing items or other things that hold on to particles longer than hands would.
And you weren't submitted any clothing articles or men's clothing? were you?
Correct.
Pass the witness, Judge.
No additional questions of this witness, Judge?
All right, is this lady excused? Yes,
Please and thank you, Ms. Hill.
you are excused, ma'am. Thank you. Welcome to Texas.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Next witness. Report, sir. And the court recognizes this witness. You were the 10th witness. And now you are also number 16, Chad Williamson, the same Chad Williamson who earlier testified. Sir, you are still under oath.
Yes.
All right. State when you're ready.
It's
And restate your name for the record, please.
Chad Williamson.
Warned you the other day I'd be calling you back. Talk a little bit more detail about the case. Some days. All right. I think when we covered whenever you were here, that you ended up being the lead investigator on this case.
Yes.
Yes. I want to go to the night of this incident.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And specifically when law enforcement got involved. Did you go to the scene there at, you pronounce it Cobb Corner or Cove Corner?
Cobb's Corner.
All right.
Mhm.
So you know where I'm talking about.
I do know.
Did you go there?
Yes, sir. I do.
And along with multiple other officers, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you one of the investigators that approached the residence and had Mr. Arnold exit?
Mr. Arnold was already outside whenever we approached him. Yes, sir. Well, I approached the residents and said to speak with Mr. Arnold.
All right. So because I know there were two Mr. Arnolds,
Cody Arnold.
thank you. You say he was already out of the residence?
Yes, sir. Front porch.
Describe that to the jury. Because my memory is that, I'll put it to you this way. Deputy Staggs testified that there was some surveillance before everybody moved in.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there at that time?
I was not there at that time.
Okay. Were you there whenever somebody approached and knocked on the door to get someone to come out?
Was not.
All right. So you arrived after he'd already exited.
Yes, sir.
And were you one of the investigators that spoke to Mr. Arnold before somebody actually went into the residence?
Yes, sir.
What was his demeanor like?
Worried that we were there. You know, he was concerned, I guess would be a better word.
Would that be the same kind of reaction most folks have when law enforcement shows up at their house?
Yes.
Were you the one that had asked him some questions at this stage?
There were a couple people there that were asking questions. It's
A group effort?
yes, sir.
I'm going to try to switch our imaging over here if you'll give me just 1 second, also. Come on now. This is nothing more than me liking to use photographs as I talk to witnesses. So.
Okay.
This is our State's Exhibit 1. I don't remember if I pulled that up when you were testifying previously.
No, sir.
All right. So is this in fact the location that I'm really trying to direct my questions to you? Is this the Cold Corner reference residence?
Yes.
Okay. Was Mr. Arnold asked if Miss Stone was living there?
He was asked if she was there. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what was his response to that?
He said, we reference my report here, sir.
Yes, sir.
He identified his girlfriend at the time we got there. And,
Well, let's pause there. He did say that Caitlin Stone was his girlfriend?
yes,
Okay, go ahead.
anyway. And he said that Stone had lived there for the past month.
Was he asked the last time that he spoke with her?
He said last time he spoke with her was around 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. yesterday, which would have been Saturday. We were there on Sunday.
And about what time were y'all there at this location?
About 10:15 Sunday night.
So his first statement to you that said he talked to her 24 hours before?
Yes, sir.
And again, to help the jury, the date,
Would have been the March the 26th.
Did-
We were
day
there
that you-
March 27th.
So he's referencing that he saw her the day before,
Correct.
and you're standing there on March 27th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Did he change his response to that?
Yes, sir, he did.
What was the next thing he said?
Then Cody said he has not spoken with Caitlin since yesterday, but he knows she went to Orange. I backed that up a little bit. So Cody changed the story and said he was laying up on the couch and they went to chill for a minute, and that's the last thing I remember.
So the last thing he said he remembered was them chilling on the couch.
Yes.
Did he give a time reference for
He did
that?
not.
Okay. And when did he make the comment about Orange? That she may have gone to Orange?
While we were standing out front.
Was he asked how he communicated with people?
Through Facebook. Social media.
Why not a phone?
Said he didn't have a phone.
Did he say why he didn't have a phone?
He said Chelsea Ship took his phone.
And something else as well, didn't he?
Phone and pants.
Seems kind of odd.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take it that way too when you heard that information? That an individual, we'll just use it as an example. If I asked you right now where your phone was and you responded to me that you left it with somebody else along with your pants, would you find that odd?
Yes, sir.
Is that the way he explained where his phone was?
Yes, sir.
Did he go on further to say how he communicated without that phone?
Said he used his father's phone. He does not have a way to communicate except through using his father's phone.
So on the tail end of the comment about his phone and pants being with somebody else, was he asked if he had a romantic relationship with Miss Ship?
Yes, sir.
Or what did you see his visible response was?
He smirked.
So if the record's clear, what do you mean when you say the word smirk?
Mm-hmm. Kind of turned his head to the side, kind of like that.
Okay. So you visibly given that reference for the jury. Didn't say anything, but that was his visible response.
Yes.
Did y'all ask for an explanation as how he was missing his pants?
Yes, sir.
What was his response?
And Cody said he took his pants off at her place at the beach.
Did he indicate where that was?
Well, later we found out it was Chelsea Ship's trailer. So yes, he did.
Did he indicate whether or not Caitlin was there with him?
He did not.
All right. So all that stuff we just went through with the jury, that's occurring, if I understood you explaining to me before, Wasn't that occurring right here in State's Exhibit 1 at that front porch?
Yes,
And is that occurring before Detective Powell actually goes into the residence to see if there is a body there?
before or during, depending. Yes,
Okay. So while you're talking to him, you think that Detective Powell went in?
yes, while I was speaking with him.
Did he in fact walk out while that conversation was going on?
Detective Powell did.
And it was at that point in time that he was detained?
Yes, sir.
Were you the one that put cuffs on him or somebody else?
Somebody else did.
Did you provide him his Miranda warnings?
We did.
Did that all occur again here on State Exhibit 1?
Yes, sir.
You heard those warnings given to him?
Yes, sir.
At this stage, did he make a statement to you about how the body ended up there? Because again, you've given him his Miranda warnings.
Mhm.
I believe, Detective, that you asked him if he wants to speak with you.
Yes.
And did you ask him about Caitlin?
Yes, sir.
What was his response?
He said Chelsea Ship shot and killed his girlfriend in his bedroom yesterday.
And he gave you a time that happened, right?
Yes, sir.
What time did he say?
9 or 10 in the daytime.
That would have been Saturday.
Saturday, March 26th, 2022.
Thank you. Did you ask him why he didn't call law enforcement?
Yes, sir. Did.
What he said?
Cody told me he was in shock.
Did he indicate that once she was shot, she wasn't moved?
He did.
By his statements there before you ever left the scene, right?
Yes.
And as far as talking to him, I know that you watched Captain Kelly collect his gunshot residue. Just odd question. Did you see any fireworks that look like they've been set off there at the house?
Fireworks?
Yes, sir. See any brake pads that somebody looked like they're working on changing the brakes on a car?
I did not.
Did you see any obvious lead or antimonium laying around?
Not sure what that last part is, antimonium, but
That's the fancy chemical word.
okay.
There's nothing that was obvious to you, right?
Not obvious to me. No,
All
sir.
right. So were you responsible for taking Mr. Arnold to Jefferson County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
And did you conduct an interview with him there?
I did.
We're going to come back to that. I want to skip ahead to you. You conducted a second interview with him that occurred when?
The second interview,
Yes, sir.
that happened on April the 1st, 2022.
So with your first interview, who was with you?
Detective Staggs.
So it's two detectives, you and Detective Staggs, in that first interview. Second interview occurs on April 1st of 2022.
Correct.
And who's with you this time?
Detective Danny Powell. Danny Powell.
Yes, sir. Is it normal that you're going to have more than one detective that y'all go in alone to visit with somebody?
Yes, sir.
And that's what you did on both those occasions, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to go into detail with you about those two separate interviews, but I want to move to the cell phone mapping that was done. Okay.
Yes, sir.
In this investigation of this case, were multiple cell phones acquired?
There were.
Did you ever actually obtain the cell phone that was purported to be Cody Arnold's?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you ever acquire the cell phone that Ms. Schiff was supposed to have been using at the time?
Not at the time anymore. No, sir.
She ended up having a separate phone at the time of arrest, didn't she?
She did.
Did it appear that it was something that was acquired after the incident?
After Detective Daniel Powell looked at it, he believed that yes, it was one that was acquired later.
So were you all able to get cell phone records for Mr. Arnold and Ms. Schiff that they had at the time of this offense?
Yes, call detail records.
Right. Tell the jury what that is and how you obtained it.
Call detail records is something you ask from a phone company, and they give you internet usage, phone messages. When I say messages, times and dates of the messages, not necessarily physical messages themselves. They give you locations, GPS locations, and you can put all that into a software program.
I'm going to use an example. If I called you today to come testify and you looked at my call detail records, what would it show?
It would show that you called me at whatever time this is.
Wouldn't it in fact show that my phone number called your phone number at a date and time?
Correct.
Is that how you all read those reports?
Correct.
All right. So you used the words that you asked for the records from Mr. Arnold's carrier and Ms. Schiff's carrier.
Hmm.
Is asked really the right word?
No, that is not the right word. Not at all.
How'd you actually obtain these records?
The records were obtained through a search warrant.
And how did you learn their cell phone numbers and all?
They were obtained through talking with other witnesses and just throughout the investigation.
So just part of the continued investigation throughout. So
Correct.
let's get a time frame as to when you were successful in obtaining those cell phone records.
Okay.
Let's start with Coney Arnold. I'll help you out. If you look at page 13 of your report, what date were you able to get Coney Arnold's cell phone records?
On April the 25th, 2022.
So that would have been a month after the incident.
Correct.
And is it true that you got Ms. Schiff's sometime after that?
Yes, sir.
Was that date? What date was that?
May the 18th, 2022.
So what does that allow you to do once you have all these records?
We were able to compile all the information that we get from the cell phone carriers into a software. We're able to map where the cell phone has been used, and compile the data together to get the proper mapping. And it will show you where you've been.
May I approach it?
Yes.
I'll show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 50. Is a mapping program that combined both Chelsea and Cody's information. Do you remember doing that?
Yes.
Is this in fact going to appear almost like a video of how that information is compiled?
Yes, sir.
Is that how it operates?
Correct.
You reviewed that before
Mhm.
testifying today?
Yes.
Does this really accurately depict the report, for lack of a better word, the cell phone mapping that you created so that help explain to the jury where these phones were?
Yes.
And you're the one that created it.
I-
And it's based off of those records that you acquired through the warrants that we just talked about.
Right.
Right? Not somebody else doing it. This is your handiwork.
Yes, sir.
You're the tender State's Exhibit 50.
Yes, we need to approach, Judge.
Come on up. The witness, Mr. Williamson, is on the witness stand. The state may proceed.
So just think about the where we left off, the cell phone mapping. We're not getting that information today, but you asked for some outside assistance looking into what's called the infotainment system.
Yes,
Do you remember that?
I do.
Were you the one that asked for that information, sir?
Yes, sir.
And who was it that actually downloaded the Nissan's information in that regard?
Detective Raymer, Beaumont Police Department at that time.
And you know he's available to testify about that information.
Yes.
And just in general, what is that going to give the jury?
Infotainment center is, put it in lay terms, it is like the GPS on your car. It's everything to do with Bluetooth, GPS. It records everything that you do in your car. It can even record how fast the car is going in some cases. Every car is different as to how much information it gives.
Was it relatively new, y'all finding out you could provide this information back in 2022?
I want to say it was the first time.
Okay. Is that why y'all went outside of your agency to find somebody who knew how to do that?
Right, we didn't have a case.
You do that. You do now, right?
We do not.
Still don't? Okay. So we'll have Detective Raymer testify about that. So let's go back to some of the things, back to the interviews. You were present on both interviews, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when was the first interview, sir?
The first interview was on March 27th, 2022.
And that was when he was taken from that location that we had up, sorry?
Right. Go ahead. Sorry.
You were going to correct something?
Oh, whenever we brought him in, it was a little after midnight, so it would have been the 28th.
All right, so we're moving from March 27th of 2022 on to March 28th.
Right.
How long do you think you were there that evening?
How long do I think I was there?
Yeah, with that interview,
About 2 hours.
Young man approach.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 51 is marked as the first interview. Do you remember reviewing this video interview, sir?
Yes, sir.
Does it truly and accurately depict all the time in which Mr. Arnold was interviewed between with you and Detective Staggs?
Yes.
Does it truly and accurately depict all the events during that time frame?
Yes.
Nobody's added or deleted, redacted anything as far as that's concerned.
Correct.
And at this time, we have the Tender States Exhibit 51.
No objections.
It is admitted.
In preparation for your testimony, did we locate some times that we wanted to highlight for the jury as far as when this interview is taking place,
Okay.
as opposed to playing the full 2 hours?
Right.
What's the jury seeing here, sir?
This is our interview room at the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. That's Detective Staggs
in the doorway right there, and Mr. Cody Arnold sitting in a chair.
Then let's explain the numbers on this video too, sir.
Okay, the numbers, the way it reads is the numbers off to the right, that is midnight, basically 12:11 in the morning. Off to the left is the date. It was March the 28th of 2022.
It basically looks to be about 11 minutes after midnight, almost 12 minutes.
Yes,
So was the date and time accurate on this video?
yes,
Am I right that this is just next door over here?
yes, sir, the sheriff's office downtown.
Right next door to this building?
Right.
On the second floor, if I remember right?
Correct.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and play the initial part, because don't you give him his Miranda warnings again here at the station, sir?
Yes.
Thanks, Dennis. We'll see better if the lights are on.
I'm assuming Detective Staggs is waiting on you.
Yes.
Do you remember how long the wait is?
Long.
What's the Cody, the COD one? And Arnold, AR-41, I would believe. AR-NOLG. Your date of birth, 9/2000.
So yes,
Sir?
say it wasn't fun. So I came into the picture again.
You got that? Thank you, we just can't do it. You know, those are starting to make that. You work with me for workers, you value on. So, and this is gonna be the March 28th, 2022, at 12:14 in the morning. You know exactly why you're here, right? All right, we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, I'll bring you right out there, okay? But I'm gonna read it to you one more time, okay? All right. Now, just tell me you agree, or you disagree, or it's not really agree or disagree, it's whether you understand or don't understand, okay? You have a right to remain silent. Understand that? Okay. Well, I'll ask you to initial all these right here, okay? All right. Just saying you understand. Anything you say can will be used against you in a court of law. You understand that one? Okay. You have a right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you were being questioned. You understand that? Okay. If you cannot afford a hire lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish. You understand that? Yes, okay. give them status any time of exercising your rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. You understand that? Okay. I have a regular warning of those and understand my rights, so I can voluntarily give a statement to Detective Chad Williamson and Nathan Sachs. Okay? Do you wish to talk to us? Okay. Here, pull up.
Yes, can you hit the lights for me? So the jury just saw Mr. Arnold sign a document. I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 53. Is this the document that we just saw him sign?
Yes, sir.
Is this where you asked him to initial?
Correct.
Did you see him sign the document?
Yes.
And you see the date and information?
Yes.
Is it the typical Miranda warnings that whenever you do it in written and signed version, is this that correct form?
Yes, sir.
And you can testify that it all truly and accurately depicts what you saw that day as well as what we just watched.
Correct.
Tender States Exhibit 53.
No objection to 53, Judge.
It's admitted.
Thank you. If I had access to the light switch, I'd turn it off. Thank you.
Very good. Cool. You just find that the thing, like I said, and you read it, you understand it, you agree with the statement. Sign it, no pressure, name underneath it. Dated 3/28/22. Times 12/17. Yeah, well, times. Good. Where do you live? What's your address? Or what's your dad's address? Or where we found you today? College Corner, 14529. 14529. Well, you're off of Creighton Road or Patterson Road. Okay. And how do we come to you today? Because my girlfriend got shot. Wow. Okay. All right. So basically what I want you to do is I want you to take it back to the day you and her, who's your girlfriend was? Let's go with that. Caitlin Stone. Caitlin Stone? Yes, okay. How old is Caitlin Stone? You know her birthday by chance? Okay. How old is Caitlin? Well, okay. All right, that's not a problem. Right. So, Caitlin Stone, 16 years old, and where's she from? She was born in Byard, but she's been growing up in Orange. Grown up in Orange? You know what school she went to there? Or did she went to Byard, the only school I heard about. Okay, but as far as you know, she doesn't attend school now. She got kicked out by you or something. I'll try this. Okay, how did you meet her? Because you don't know, at my grandma's house, her grandpa lived across the street in the trailer park, and he asked me one night to look her up, so she'd come over our highway to talk, and about 4 or 5 days later, she finally called back on my Facebook, you know. That's how I looked her up for him. And I told her it was her grandpa, and she eventually just came over to come visit with him and stuff, and then she came to come see me, and I don't know, it felt weird, because I never felt that time. Yeah. So you typically say most of the time on East Lane, right, out in Beaumont. What's your address on East Lane? 1860. Okay, she was staying across the street at her grandfather's house. Okay, you know her parents or anything like that? I know her mom passed, and well, she had like a pretend mom or a foster one, to say her name's Sylvia, so I didn't know that last name. Okay. And she had her dad still alive, because we were based on those names. What's the name? I wanted to hide from him, you know. Does he have a Florida, or is he out of here, or what? Does he have here local? In Byron? I think Byron. Okay, he does stay in Byron. Okay. So you said that we spoke a little bit down there at your house, right there, your dad's house, and you said that y'all went to the beach and stuff like that. Y'all, well, what day did y'all leave to go do all your stuff? What day did y'all get together and leave? Well, and who went with you? Well, it wasn't yesterday morning, it was the night before, because we all went out there. But it was that, Saturday or Wednesday? Which, I'm sorry. Okay, Friday night, late Friday night, we went out there, went out there with, Chelsea Ship, and her RV, Chelsea Ship. I can do it. He has an FHIP, IPD. Okay. How do you know Chelsea? We met probably 4 or 5 months ago through a mutual friend, because my friend was dating his aunt, her aunt. Okay. And
So that reference where, I'll turn them over just a second. He's talking about Ben, Caitlin, and Chelsea. What day is he referencing there?
Probably March 25th, 2022.
That would be the day before the killing.
Right.
And all 3 of them were supposed to be where?
They went to Chelsea Ship's travel trailer.
And you know through your investigation where that is. Where is that located?
It's at Crystal Beach.
So that statement you were able to affirm later through other evidence?
Correct.
I'm going to jump forward to, he tells you where they go from there, right? Do you remember? Do you get a reference from him as to how long they're there and where they go?
Yes. So three of them went to, well, the 3 of them started off there at Chelsea Ship's trailer. And then at 3 a.m. in the morning, they went to a guy named Justin's trailer in Baytown.
but you said there was some music, and got to know each other a lot better, or something like that. So y'all stayed there all night? Yeah, all night. Well, till about 3 in the morning or something like that. Then we went to Houston, to some dude named Justin's house, some friend from Chelsea's. Mm-hmm. And we just chilled over there, but me and Caitlin chilled outside when it got to a current point. It was weird. And then, so we went outside to a lot. Was he under over there or something? I don't think he bought it, but I know the dude had a lot of drugs. And so me and Caitlin went and got breakfast, and we came back, and she was telling me she wanted to go really bad. I was like, yeah, I know, I want to too. So I walked in the house, and I just told Chelsea we got ready to go. We were ready to go, All right. So, you're where y'all went and got breakfast? At Danny's Donuts.
So they get breakfast. And they end up taking Chelsea back to Mr. Arnold's residence where he's staying, right?
Yes, sir.
You gather that from this interview, correct?
Right.
And from there, do they leave?
Thank you.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
One, two. Okay. And then what about the late? Alright, so you'll drop cable off at your house? Yes, sir. On College Farm? Yes, sir. And then you decided to shoot on Chelsea? Yeah. And so then you and Chelsea went back to the beach? Yes, sir. Okay, to get some stuff. And then, but when we got back to the house, well, the whole time we were chilling, she was just acting a little off, strange. Who's that? Chelsea. Chilling at your house on College Corner? No. Or at her house, yeah, that's what we thought. Why was she acting strange? I don't know, but then she started saying something about I'm gonna find out how old she is. I'm gonna do some research like that. So she looked her up on Facebook, and then she did something. I don't know if she looked in like the biography thing or whatever. You know how they have it? Well, or something. But she found out where it showed the date she was born, and she started going off on me and saying all kinds of weird, crazy stuff. Like most of it I didn't pay attention to because I was going down on my phone, you know? Right. And, I was just, yes, whoa, you crazy, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Random bullshit. I mean, honestly. Mm-hmm. And I seen her start getting ready, getting dressed and stuff, so I went and brushed my teeth, or wash my mouth out with water, sat down, put more makeup on, stuff like that. So were you and Chelsea really having sex or something? No, I was sitting in the chair, she was sitting in the other chair. I mean, you said you got dressed, I didn't know. Yeah, changed. Okay, so yeah, changed. But I was cleaning off the counter, like, all the trash and plates, I washed dishes, you know? Yeah. Mostly was sitting there listening to music. That was all I was involved in, had my focus to. And when we were finally ready, we left there. I went back to my house and I went inside to pee. Well, I grabbed her bag and then whose bag? Who's her? Chelsea. Yeah, I grabbed Chelsea's bag with all my clothes and stuff like that in it. Well, not all my clothes because I left a big bag she gave me at her house. Mm-hmm. But I grabbed that and went to the bathroom to go pee. And she's like, all right, I'm ready. Oh, like, okay. I was sitting there peeing and she walked inside, I seen him reach and pull the thing out. I was like, I'm about to go in here, fuck with my girl while she's asleep. What the fuck? So I walked in there. As soon as I opened the door, she was standing there like this. And so, I mean, so what was Caitlin doing?
I'm pausing that there. Before he goes in and describes how he went to the bathroom and this occurs, there were some statements he was making right before that about her talking crazy, her being Chelsea Ship, him looking at his phone. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
What impression did that leave you with, sir? Those statements.
The way it was being described was just rather vague. I mean, just talking random, like you said, random BS.
The vague discussion here, you compared that to some of the other detail you got in the interview. Do you remember explaining that to me?
Yes. Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
So, I mean, Cody was able to tell us a lot of other details prior to this information right here. And then after, he's able to tell us a little bit more detail. It just seemed like for some reason or another that whatever Chelsea was saying, he didn't want to tell me, or he just didn't tell me.
So what did that lead you to believe, officer?
Well, to me, it looked like deception from my standpoint.
From your training and everything, right?
Yes, sir.
Now go forward, because you'll spend some time visiting with him. And is it common that whenever you're interviewing suspects or witnesses that you circle back and ask same or similar questions?
Yes.
Trying to test their the truth
Yes,
and to get additional information, right?
yes.
Thank you, Judge. I'm gonna pick up playing here at the 36-minute, 35-second mark.
Or did you, what you realize is what is not just seeing what just happened, just what I just seen is running through my head over and over. But you do realize that there was gonna be an end to such trouble. Yes, sir, yeah. I was hoping it'd be a lot sooner, but I just couldn't walk back in there, And then I couldn't call, I can't talk to nobody, I couldn't talk to nobody about it. I mean, I couldn't talk to my dad for an hour or something, trying to tell him what happened, Yeah. Because every couple of minutes I would just break down and stuff like that. And, out there, my eyes from the line right before, or right after I woke up, so he came back up. So I was just. What time, what was the last time you used? We talked about this already. About 10 o'clock. This morning, so right before we got there. Because when I woke up, I made something to drink and to eat, and as soon as I did that, like I was watching TV while I was eating, and it went through my head once, twice, and I said, fuck that, I had to get lying. Okay. Now, Cody, I'm gonna let you know. Yes, okay. We're gonna do a full-scale investigation. Caitlin deserves that. Yes, sir. Okay. We need to do the most thorough investigation possible. Okay. And I know what you're telling us, and I believe. Okay. But I'm gonna tell you, everything you're telling me better be 100%. So, okay. It is. I mean, I know it was bad because I didn't, call, but I just couldn't do nothing. I've been numb just numb, completely numb. Now I see why people do the drugs like they do when they witness stuff, or when I hope it doesn't affect my future or anything. I wish I would have never done anything or hung out with people like that. Yeah, but she doesn't deserve like justice. She really does, because nobody deserves that, especially in their sleep. And as good of a person as young she was, no. Well, here's the deal. We're gonna find Chelsea. Yes, sir. Okay. She's gonna go to jail. Okay. If everything went the way he explained it, it's okay. That's the way that's gonna happen.
I'm going to pause this. I believe I missed one of the things I wanted to highlight with you, so I'm going to back this up a little bit, sir.
Yes.
Back up to a little bit past the 25-minute mark.
We left there, it was Brandy. It was Brandy. Or one of her aunt's house, and Brandy was there. Mm-hmm. And we got she got a pretty good amount of dope from me, not a lot. Oh, Brandy? Yeah. Whatever. And I'm just out of there. Oh, and I picked my dog up too, because Brandy had my dog from those switching cars at that one. Yeah. Because Chelsea didn't have no gas at the beach. So everybody, So we got drugs, we did a bunch of them, and then went back to my house. I just passed out. It was just meth, or? Yeah. I had me a little bit of that. Amy was seeing what I did, or what she did,
What did he just say? Did you hear what he just said?
Yes, sir.
What did he say?
That after seeing what I did,
Did he change that?
he did. I mean, what she did.
Let's hear that one more time.
And just to put it in reference, he's talking about having to do, he'd already done drugs, but he's basically saying, I got to drink some Jack, I think that's what it was.
Yes, sir, Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels.
there. And we got she got a pretty good amount of dope from people, not gonna lie. And I was I'm just out of there. Oh, and I picked my dog up too, because Randy had my dog from those fishing cars that morning. Yeah. Because Chelsea didn't have no gas at the beach. So it went, So we got drugs, we did a bunch of them, and then went back to my house. I just passed out. Just meth or? Yes. Yeah. And I had me a little bit of that damage after seeing what I did.
After seeing what I did. Is that what he just said? That's at the 37. This says 27 seconds. Mark of this video. First interview.
Okay, fuck it. Got everything getting fucked up. And she, like, when I called her this morning about the shit, she's sitting there crying like, I'm so sorry. I traumatized you more than you already were. I'm like, I'm always just speechless about it. So you called Chelsea this morning? What time did she leave you? Well, not this morning, this afternoon when I woke up, Okay, so Saturday, let's go back to Saturday. Did she stay with you at your house, or did she stay with her, or what? She said she was leaving. You go grab my shit, grab my phone, all my stuff, like that. Saturday? Yeah, Saturday afternoon or after she dropped me back off. But she was supposed to be going to grab all my shit and then going to turn herself in. Okay. So, and she said that Saturday. About what time do you know? Was it still daylight out at night time? I have no idea. I can't even remember. Okay, so did you talk to her at all today? Sunday, should I say? I know it was getting late. It was towards the end, like the end of the day. So I went inside the house. I didn't want to walk back to that end of the room just in case it was real, Right. Because I'm just sitting there like, I'm hoping it's a dream. I'm hoping I'm just tripping, something like that. Like, but that was popping in my head every time. I know it. I don't know. I still feel like this is a dream. So she left you Saturday to go get your stuff and bring it back. She never showed back up. That's right. Okay. So did you talk to her at all Sunday? Today, but yeah. I pretty much, yeah. And the only couple things she said was, "I'm so sorry. I'm just waking up. I'm just waking up. I'm sorry I traumatized you more. You ain't got a phone no more." I'm like, what the fuck? And so, and she hung up, and I've been trying to reach her since. She ain't even, it's going straight to voicemail on her phone. I don't know. Maybe 7 o'clock? 7 this morning or 7 this afternoon. I've been on, like, they've been to South. I was knocked out. So what was your plan then? I didn't have a plan. I don't know what to do. I just knew I didn't want to get in trouble for this. So I'm sitting there crying, upset, like didn't know what I just saw, if I saw what I saw. I just don't know how to explain what happened. Right. So then, because it was really bad anyway. But what did you do all from Sunday at 7 o'clock to the time we showed up at your house? I've been past. Okay. And we showed up at your house, and you gave us permission to go into the house. So, because it's your room, yeah, right? So, I figured somebody would hopefully call or she turned herself in or something, Right. So, whenever you gave us permission to go into your room, into the house, into your room, yes, sir. I would have said no if I had anything in the hospital. Sure, but when you kind of figured that I was hoping y'all to get, and that way I didn't have.
How really rational is that thought process? What he just said right there.
How really rational is that?
The fact that,
He's like, hey, yeah, come on back. I got a dead body back here.
right,
How really rational is that?
it's not something a normal person would do.
But he seemed to think that was okay, right? You know, I asked him, you need to answer that question, sir. He seemed to think that was okay, the way he was explaining it to you?
No, sir.
So one of the things that we were just discussing there on that was whether or not he had a plan, right? You remember?
Right,
Never admits to anything like that, correct?
right.
But y'all do a second interview with him, don't you?
Yes, sir.
That was at his request sometime after being in custody on April 1st of 2022. You were contacted, he wanted to visit with you, correct? Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
And did you make arrangements to go and see him?
Yes,
Was he picked up and brought to your office basically to do an interview just like what we saw right there?
correct.
Same location there,
Same location.
and he's brought in to visit with as he requested, correct?
Correct.
Did you watch that interview
I do.
at Approach Check?
Yes.
Labeled that the second interview. Show you States Exhibit 52. Is that a true and correct copy of the entirety of the second interview that was conducted on the 1st of 2022 of Southern Leon?
Yes.
Who was present during this?
Detective Dennis South.
And was again here, was he read his Miranda right?
He was.
At some point in time, I think he invokes his right to counsel.
He did at the end of the first interview.
He did at the end of the first.
Yes.
Okay. So how did y'all handle that before you actually talked to him?
We made sure that he wanted to come speak with us again.
And this you only went right because he asked y'all?
Correct.
How did you get notice that he wanted to visit?
He asked jail staff to get in contact with us.
Did you, before you actually began to interview him on this video, did you go over that discussion with him and his Miranda rights again?
Yes,
And did he waive those rights?
he did.
So in your opinion, was this all voluntary based upon him requesting it and again, re-waiving those rights?
Yes.
And we would tender States Exhibit 52.
Was present in state proceedings.
At this time, Your Honor, the state will re-tender States Exhibit 52.
Okay.
Without objection, as based upon the rulings, it was the head notes without objection.
Well, sir, I apologize. I may repeat some things just because I want to be sure I've gotten all the right information on the record, okay?
Yes.
This second interview, and we've got a portion of it up on the screen. Is it true that it was on April 1st, 2022?
Yes, sir.
And this was, just to lay the groundwork, was after Cody Arnold asked to, through some communications, asked to visit with law enforcement again.
Yes.
And y'all made arrangements to have him brought over? Yes?
Yes.
Was he, we're well into this interview where I've got it queued up. Looks like about an hour into this interview. If we were to go all the way back to the beginning, was he giving his Miranda warnings much like the jury has already seen?
He was.
Just like you did in the prior time frame, correct?
Correct.
And he waived those rights
Correct.
and proceeded moving forward.
Correct.
So in general, was there any big differences between his interview from the prior occasion to the second interview?
any big differences.
In the content that he's giving you?
Not a lot of difference. A lot of the same, you won't call it, like a lot of the same, went the same places and stuff like that, you know, like he told us in the first one.
Here, is it, are y'all playing good cop, bad cop here?
No.
Did he, was Mr. Arnold getting along with one of you more than the other?
Yes,
Who was that?
me.
Was he having some issues with how Detective Powell was visiting with him?
Yes,
Was Detective Powell a little bit more confrontational with him?
yes,
Kind of in his face about everything, right? In fact, couple of minutes we want to show he's going to be waving some photographs around, right?
correct.
Is it very similar to some of the things we've seen the jury's doing here? Is this section one we highlighted because of some of the statements and specifically admissions that Mr. Arnold made during this time frame?
Yes.
I think I've got it backed up about a minute or so from where you and I talked about trying to give the jury some reference. And so the record clear, the time frame on this is 11:28. About an hour into the interview.
You used to let that body be in there for months. And what were you doing? I mean, if they were going to turn herself in, I would say that's been a little bit of time I had love with David, right there with it. I was just, you know, put a bit of time, just enjoying just being able to see her one last time. Well, a normal person telling you, if somebody sees somebody, I really not knowing what I just seen. Man, I want to explain to you, have you ever seen your girlfriend's head get shot? Have you ever seen your girlfriend get shot in the head? And be clacked out at the same time? Well, I'm just drunk, so, I mean, I want to, I'm ready to go, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't talk about the stuff that he said. Look at me. Yes, sir. Look, man, the whole deal is we're trying to get down to the bottom of that. Yes, sir. We have spoken with people involved, everybody. Yes, okay. Guess what? We have Chelsea. Yes. What do you think Chelsea's telling us? What do you think she's trying to do? What was you trying to do if you were Chelsea? She's trying to yourself. Okay? That's what people do. I'm there to tell you the stuff, but exactly right now, they're stuff. I'm telling you, if you want to chat that, you'll say to yourself, from the Lord we watch. Remember that day? You remember those days? You talked to Mac at the store, and you asked Mac to help you get rid of her. Did you not? Yeah. You asked Mac to help you get rid of her. To save yourself. You might save yourself. You to save yourself. You ain't get rid of her. You might get rid of that one on here. The 16-year-old girl who you want to get rid of. Why? You want to get rid of her. Okay? Why do you want to get rid of her? Because I don't want to be blamed for it. They don't want to be blamed. You don't want to be blamed. You don't want to be blamed. Because she was murdered. What about? Don't want to be blamed. Everybody here killing her. Yeah, I tell you stop. Now we say, oh, you stop. And you better talk to you stop, hey. But you go, hey, man, with a gunshot on your hand. speaking now, we need to make this right. She does have one. She has red hair. Okay, she has pain. It's not just you now, Cody. This is all within. This is all for her. And we face it. Why would you in here? Why would you wrong? Hey, no. Why would you want wrong? I didn't want to do it. You know, you. I did like that. I don't know. Is there any reason why you want her to die? Do you even know what that is? No. Where? Right there. Right there, my finger. But number 3. Yeah, so what is that? Occasions. Did you put that in? I'm telling you about your road. Why is that big trash can here? What's the big trash can? That's my trash can, isn't it? Exactly. I don't know. Yeah, I had a trash can in my room, yeah. Okay. We got 2 trash cans. Well, I know we were doing a lot of things in there 2 days before. I mean, you can ask my dad, my room was never looked that clean. Right, but that trash bag was clean. There's nothing in that trash can. What was the purpose of that particular trash can? Well, we've already got past the hard part. So, tell me what exactly this trash bag, this trash can right here, is for. I can't be specifically honest with you. I can't remember. But it's going to do I was in there to help get rid of some shit, but then I ended up just being I couldn't do it. Okay, so you're talking about getting rid of shit. What were you trying to get rid of? I don't know. Clothes. No, you're telling me. Is it fire? Is it fall? Just trying to put her in? Yeah. And get it right. Is that I mean, if you could hire here, hey, that's all. But you're going to put her in here and get her all. But then really what the other part, you want to talk, you want to be honest, you want to get her out of her house. I want her out. You brought an actual move to put her in here and get her out of there. There's a possibility. Please.
I'll stop it there, Jeff. So I know you just listened to what the jury listened to, but your report has some of those notes because you've watched this more than once, haven't you, Officer?
Correct.
When you talked with him about him being Cody Arnold, y'all had y'all already talked to Charles Alley?
I don't remember whenever Charles Alley was spoken to.
Okay. But during this interview, you tell him about a conversation with Mac, and you ask him whether or not he talked to Mac about getting rid of the body.
Right.
And he makes that admission. Is that a yes?
Yes.
That is not something he admitted to back on the first interview, correct?
Right.
He only talked about visiting with somebody by the name of Mac in the first interview. And then things kind of get a little more heated. You'll start talking with him about the trash can. Yes?
Yes.
does he make some admissions about what that trash can was for?
Yes, sir.
You put it in quotes in your report. What did he say?
To get rid of shit, but couldn't do it.
And then y'all asked him to get some clarification about that. And he says what he meant by the stuff he was going to get rid of. What did he say?
Clothes, pillows, her.
He says her. Is there any other her in that room besides Caitlin Stone?
No.
And that's what you've been concerned about from day one, right?
Correct.
That admission that he was trying to get rid of the body, that didn't occur in the first interview, did it?
No.
But it does in this one,
Correct.
at that time frame that we just showed for the jury. Right, sometime after the 11:30 mark, maybe just a couple of seconds before I stopped it here, right?
Yes.
That's when it's.
Detective,
Good evening, sir.
where do I start? There's a common thing he always says. And that's Cody. I loved her. I wanted a life together. I didn't want anything to happen to her. Right? Always said that. We just heard it on the second interview, right? I didn't know what to do. Okay. We know that Chip shot her, Caitlin. With certainty, right?
From his admission and other people's.
Chip's admission. She's doing 40 years now in TDC. Because she got in front of this judge and said, I'm guilty of shooting her, Caitlin. Under oath, with an attorney. Because you would agree, she had a right to have a trial too, right? If he did it, I didn't do it. He did it. She pled, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so he takes and he asks you all to come out to the jail on April 1st of 22. You all get in there. There's another attorney now instead of Detective Stagg, Detective Powell and yourself. And you all get in there and you start talking again. And this time you kind of inched closer and closer and closer to him with the chair. Right? Well, you and the other detective, Detective Powell. And then Detective Powell started showing him pictures. Pictures of the, I guess, the autopsy. Bullet holes. With her. Look what you did. Dead, right? And he starts crying. Is that a yes?
Yes, he
Yeah.
does. Yes.
Okay. We can agree that Caitlin Stone wasn't going anywhere after she was shot. Correct?
Yes.
She was dead. No one called the police. That's a given, right? when someone dies, they start decaying, they start whatever, but they're not going anywhere, correct?
Let's remove them.
And there's no sign of that. Right?
Correct.
Okay. So when you ask Cody, what did you do with the body, or what were you going to do? Well, there's really only a couple things he could do. One is not do anything, which he didn't until y'all showed up, right?
Correct.
And he didn't touch the body before then, because it doesn't appear that way. And if there was testimony, it might not have been you yesterday, but Detective Powell saying, yeah, it looked like she was sleeping or in bed and wasn't moved. Then when you asked, were you going to get rid of her? Something had to have be done. You have a person that's dead in your bed. And I'm not trying to be cruel or insensitive. But when you ask that, what were you going to do? Was there a possibility you were going to get rid of Caitlin? Yeah, there's a possibility. That's what he said, right?
Yes.
Because what else would you do?
Call the police.
Okay, well, we know he didn't do that. And he didn't do that at all. And matter of fact, what is it, 36 hours later? From the time of, if the shooting was like at 2:30 on Saturday, 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good bit of time.
but he didn't get rid of anything. He didn't get rid of any of the pillows or the blankets or the sheets or moved her. We know that because you didn't discover any trash bags anywhere, correct?
I wasn't inside the house whenever we
Well,
moved in.
You're the lead detective. Was there anything in reference to trash bags of any of the stuff?
I wasn't the detective inside the house at that time.
Didn't you just answer Mr. Ham in reference that you were the lead detective?
Yes, I was.
Oh, okay. Well, is there anything in any of the reports you saw where there's any body parts or bloody rags or sheets or anything anywhere else?
Well, the detectives that were in the house, they testified to that.
Did you see any reports? Because you were the lead detective.
No.
Okay. There's just no trick questions, detective. I'm not asking you that.
Sure.
You've had your opinion, Mr. Ham. I've got questions.
Sure.
So he didn't do anything with that because the trash can was clean, right?
Sure. Yes.
What are you doing with the trash can? Well, a little more common sense. He's gonna start throwing away things. Could you have thrown away, or were you going to throw away Caitlin? Well, possibility. Something had to be done, right?
It's not what he said.
Huh?
Not what he said.
You didn't say throw away stuff and hurt?
He did. He said that. He
Okay.
didn't say it was a possibility.
Probability.
No, he didn't say probability.
Well, what did he say when he said that? Probability. I thought I heard a P word.
Mhm.
Well, then it's there. They can look at it again. And again, he says there in the jail, I don't want her to die. I wanted a life together. Right?
Yes.
I don't want to be blamed for it. And what do? I guess it's good cop, bad cop. You know, we have Chelsea, right? You mentioned that you had Chelsea,
Yes.
and you know what she's doing right now? Blaming you. And he said, yeah, well, I expected that. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, but in fact, she never talked to y'all.
Correct.
And you knew that because you were there when she said, I ain't talking to you in Williamson County.
I wasn't.
You weren't there?
No.
Oh, it was Detective Stagg.
Yes.
Okay. But you knew that.
Yes.
There was reference made in reference to the first interview. And snippets, not the whole thing, just snippets. And there were things like, he didn't say this and he didn't say that to you in reference to talking to Mac and what he had to say to Mac. Remember that conversation?
Yes, sir.
Not MacArthur. Did you ever ask him, what was your conversation with Mac? What did you all talk about? Because you had already talked to MacArthur, didn't you, Mac, before that?
I can't remember exactly when we talked to MacArthur Island.
But I mean, weren't you just point blank? I mean, why didn't you just ask the question? What did you all talk about?
You don't mind reference this back.
Sure, because your question was no, you never mentioned anything about what the conversation was with Matt. That's what you just testified to about 5 minutes ago.
We talked to Mac Alley on March the 27th, 2022.
March the 27th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it was you that yesterday when I asked you reference to something on Facebook that we didn't talk about, or you and Mr. Ham didn't talk about, and there was something on Facebook that said, I'm going to do it a party now because this is my last weekend before basically I've got to be a dad, responsible. I'm going to party hard. Remember that question I asked you?
Stags.
Huh?
Stags.
Oh, Stags. There's testimony from the other detective Stags that there was stuff on Facebook, and yes, it was Stags because he was the media person. That this was the last weekend he was going to do it upright because he had to be responsible, being a dad because he was having a job. Do you remember anything about that?
I do not.
If you take that as true, and Detective Staggs did because he saw the Facebook thing, you know now that Cody and whoever he was with started doing drugs at least Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, up until 10 o'clock, just before y'all got there. And I guess the aha moment on interview number 1 was when he said, see what I did, I mean what she did. And that was like an hour or so into this interview of number 1 at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Is that the admission you were looking for? Haha, that little slip up right there. I did it. Or what I did, and then quickly corrected himself and say what she did when you're all talking about what Chelsea and what was going on. Is that the aha moment? See, he
Just a
admitted.
statement. It's just a statement.
But would you think that maybe doing that and lines all weekend long and being up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I've been a little tired, a little confused.
I
Maybe.
don't have any experience with methamphetamines.
Well, have you ever seen people like that? You're the detective.
Well, I've seen people like that.
Okay.
I have no idea what they're thinking about.
Well, that's funny, detective, because when Mr. Ham asked you about your opinion about demeanors and everything else, you're full of answers. When I ask you something about, well, how about this or that? I don't know. I never did this. Well, I can't tell you about that. So why is it 2 different answers?
He asked me about facts.
Another thing was a lot of questions that she was 16, he was going to get in trouble, and he was, no consent. It was not only you, but the other detectives And what did I hear on first interview? I think it was you. When you asked her, do you know how old she is? And he said, or your birthday or whatever. He said, no, I don't remember. 16. What was your response?
No problem.
No problem.
Mhm.
You never raised it. Ooh, that's against the law. No big deal. No problem. Move it on. Correct?
Correct.
He didn't do anything until you all showed up, right?
Correct.
In the first interview, I heard Mr. Arnold Cody say, I'm glad basically that you all showed up. I was waiting for y'all. Something. I didn't know what to do. Did you hear him say that?
I did.
And y'all showed up. He thought that Chelsea was going to turn herself in, right?
He
You
made
heard him
that, he
say
made
that.
that statement.
Yeah, you heard him say that.
He did. He made that statement.
And that he was just waiting to say, okay, she's gonna turn herself in and somebody's gonna show up. Right? That's the implication.
Yes.
One last thing. You do not do any GSR, I guess, analysis, do you?
I do not.
Tell the jury, gunshot residue, but
Gunshot residue.
it's got to get into the record through question and answer so that the jury can understand.
And you realize that there was testimony from an expert that said there really wasn't anything there.
Objection, Your Honor.
Let me rephrase that. You were asked questions about brake lines or brake pads and fireworks. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what carries barium?
I do not.
Well, how about any of the other things? There's three things. You need to know what the three things are.
I do not.
But if there was testimony that it could have been picked up anywhere in the environment, being around or anything like that, you wouldn't dispute that, right?
Not at the.
Not the expert. The expert's the expert, right?
Yeah, I'm not the expert on that. No, sir.
That's good.
Can't speak to it.
Subject to recall, Your Honor, I pass the witness.
I have no further questions of this witness, Judge.
All right, this man is excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You're excused, sir. Thank you. Next.
Christopher Raymer.
State your name for the record, please.
First name is Christopher with a CH.
Voice is good, but you got like the microphone right in front of everybody.
First name is Christopher with a CH. My last name is Raymer, RAYMER.
What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a detective with the Orange County Sheriff Department.
So how long have you been in law enforcement?
Going on 9 years.
Were you working with Beaumont Police Department back in March of 2022?
Yes, sir, I was.
In what capacity?
I was a narcotics detective.
And in that capacity, did you become experienced in downloading something called an infotainment system?
Yes, sir.
When did you first become familiar with that, sir?
I was the end of 21. I went to a school, the week-long school that pretty much instructs you how to extract data from the infotainment systems of vehicles.
All right, that's what I want you to do. Tell them what an infotainment system is.
With vehicles nowadays, kind of in the digital world, infotainment system is pretty much what the word means. It's the information and entertainment portion of your vehicle. So we all have vehicles that have our check engine lights or our low tire pressure or something. That's the information side. Then you have your communication side, which is the entertainment side. So you can connect your phone, you can get text messages, make phone calls, things like that. So that's part of the entertainment.
So it sounds like the word is a blend of information and entertainment.
Yes, sir.
And you can gain access to that on someone's vehicle?
Yes, sir. The company is Berla that developed this type of system. And what they did was their main focus at the beginning was crash reconstruction. And in the midst of that, they found that they could locate data that was from cell phones or anything that was connected through Bluetooth to a vehicle.
And so you got skill to do that.
Yes, sir.
You kind of compared that when you and I were visiting to you said it's similar to what we do with cell phones?
Yes, sir. It's pretty much like you would download a cell phone. You connect something to the computer of the vehicle and then you extract that information.
So why has law enforcement gotten interested in that and downloading that information?
What we found is through the course of investigations, vehicles are used in all sorts of crimes. And sometimes we don't have access to phones. Sometimes we don't have access to the people, but we do have access to the vehicles. So what we've used this for is it assists the investigation of giving us information of whose phone was in the car, who they were talking to, where they were, where the car was, that kind of information that assists in investigation.
So by way of example, whenever I get in my car, my phone is connected to my car.
If you connected it, yes, sir.
Right. You got to go through a step where you do that.
Right.
Explain that to the jury.
Nowadays, especially with Burger, there's several ways to connect the phone. One's through tether. So we've all plugged our phone into a cord, then plugged the cord into our car. That's a tethered version. You can also do it through Bluetooth, which is wireless, but you still have to go through a pairing process. So you manually still have to connect the phone to you.
Are most of us asked to drive around hands-free?
Yes, sir, for safety.
And doesn't that come from connecting your phone to the car?
Yes, sir. That's the reason why they do it.
So based upon that is a lot of the jury's about to learn. There's a lot of information that we're sharing with others that through this system, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we covered when you learned how to do this. Have you been maintaining that skill through this time frame?
While I was with Beaumont Police Department, I did maintain that with other extractions on other vehicles. Since I've been in Orange County Sheriff Department,
And you moved over to Orange County Wednesday.
I've been there a year now.
Back in April of 2022, did someone contact you about trying to download information from a Nissan Maxima?
Yes, sir. Detective Williamson with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department.
And did you agree to do that?
Yes, sir, I did.
What would be involved in you starting that process, sir?
First, I would have to get the make, model of the vehicle, the VIN number. Burler's real specific on what vehicles their product can be used on, and that's easily searchable. I just need that information. He provided that information to me. I then searched through Burler, and it was a vehicle that you could use that program on. So I notified him that that was we could download it if he had consent or search.
So in this particular vehicle, didn't the sheriff's office have both of those items, consent as well as a search warrant?
Yes, sir. I was informed by Detective Williamson that they had consent from the vehicle owner, as well that he had drafted a search warrant and signed by the district court judge.
Did you in fact require that you see that search warrant before you move forward?
Yes, sir. I physically saw the copy myself.
Protecting yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So you affirm that you had the right to go in and get this information.
Yes.
The legal right is allowed for the search warrant, right?
Yes, sir.
When did you start that process?
Can I refer to my report?
Please.
That would have been 4/1 of 22.
Sounds like you were contacted maybe a day or so before and you actually started the process on that day.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you do it at?
The Jefferson County storage lot where they have had the vehicle in storage.
So you went to the car.
Yes, sir.
What's involved with actually getting to that information?
I was contacted by a detective there. They let me in. I then documented the vehicle as I found it. Took pictures of the outside of the vehicle. Verified the VIN number to make sure it was the vehicle that was on the search warrant that I was informed of prior to. And it was.
So, I mean, do you just walk up and wave a wand over it and find out what's going on?
No, sir. So we were granted access to the car. Burla has a very specific direction that you follow from steps 1 through whatever that model has. It's very specific. I followed that. I was able to remove the infotainment system, and I took that back to my office with me that day.
I think you described to me you removed a portion of the dash.
Yes, sir. So the radio console is in that vehicle with the infotainment system. So I removed that whole system and brought it with me to finish the extraction.
So if these folks were wondering, hey, I wonder where that's on my car, is it going to be pretty close to
Pretty
where?
close there, yes, sir.
To where
Pretty,
they're,
pretty much around your infotainment system where you're gonna plug your phone up and things.
where they might be listening to their music or
Yes.
satellite or whatever else.
Right.
Right. You brought it back to your office,
Yes, sir.
and what was the next thing you did?
With this particular model, I removed the PC board from the infotainment system. On this extraction, Burla supplied their own PC board that I then connected to that and extracted data from that.
Were you successful in getting all the information off of there?
Yes, sir.
So what kind of categories of information are we looking at here?
With this vehicle, you could get call logs, messages, contacts, track logs, what they call track logs, waypoints, velocity logs of how fast the vehicle was moving. You get what kind of phones were connected.
On these type of systems, can more than one phone be connected?
Yes, sir. It'll show us the phones that were connected at a certain period.
And were you searching a particular time or just searching the entire system?
No, so it extracts a lot of information. So if I have a particular time frame and we try to ask for that time frame, we can narrow that down to what phones were connected here.
All right, so let's start with that. What were the Bluetooth connected devices to this vehicle?
The first one that we came to was had a name ID of Chels, CHELS, and it had a unique number with that. The unique number is similar to a serial.
Okay. And is that pretty normal with any
Yes.
phone that gets connected?
Yes, sir. Without a unique number, it's going to be a phone that's been connected over and over and over. So probably someone that's often in the car or constantly has a phone or automatically connected to the phone.
I know, like when I get into my car and you look at the connected, it says Jimmy's iPhone. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
pretty normal?
Yes.
Okay. You had more than one item connected. What was the second?
The second one was Cody MF iPhone, and it also had a unique number. And the last one is an iPhone with a serial.
So that last one didn't really have any other description other than just an iPhone.
Yes.
So those were the devices that you show that were connected.
Yes.
And I'm looking at your report. You mentioned to the jury contacts. Is that like if I pull out my cell phone, the contacts that I have there?
Yes, sir. With the infotainment system, it's not as similar as a cell phone search warrant where we would extract data from the cell phone itself. If we do that, we get all the contacts. Infotainment system will download a certain portion. So you can get some contacts, you can get some calls, you get some text messages if it downloads.
So what phone was giving up the contact information on this one?
On this, we got contacts and call logs from Cody Internet iPhone.
So it's that second connected device you described for both the contacts and the call logs.
Yes.
The track logs. Let's go ahead and explain what those last three categories are. What is a track log?
A track log and a waypoint are very similar. So waypoints are going to be marks that the car's GPS system labels as the car's moving. It does it on its own. Track points means that some type of action had to happen, and that's timestamp. So if you pull to a stop sign, you come to a full stop and then leaving that stop sign, that would be a track point because an action was made of come to a stop and leaving. And those are times the track points.
Compare that to the next category, waypoints.
So waypoints would be if you had typed in an address that you were traveling on through your phone, you need to go somewhere and you type in the address, that waypoint would mark where you went during that time.
And the last category you mentioned was velocity logs. What's that?
That just would document the speed of which you were traveling when you set your way.
You prepared a report about where that car was for the relevant time frame, did you not?
Yes, I did.
Did you use that information based upon those categories of things that we just talked about?
Yes, sir.
And did you adjust times and all based upon the time differential between UTC and Central Daylight Time?
Yes.
Tell the jury what UTC is.
UTC is a universal time standard. So to get to Central Standard Time, we had to change the time to show the times that it was happening here. Just like if you break out a new iPhone, your iPhone's going to be set to UTC times, and it'll ask you to set it to where you are, so you have the right time. This is doing the exact same thing.
So in your report that you prepared, are most of these times based upon or all the times based upon the track logs information? With that, were you able to know and pinpoint an exact location?
Yes, sir. Through the Virtual system, it timestamps the track log. So when it records a track log, it records the GPS location and the time that was.
May I approach the witness? Yes. I'll show you what I've marked in this state's exhibit 54. This is that report that consists of 3-page about those relevant time frames.
Yes, sir.
And by that, I mean you were told to look at a certain time frame, right?
Right. Yes, sir. It was.
And that was from what starting at
Noon on the 26th, March 26th,
until.
till the 27th at 9 in the morning.
So assuming the jury gets to look at this report, what is this first column?
The first column will be the GPS coordinates when that timestamp was recorded.
To me, it almost reads like latitude.
Latitude.
Thank you. It's been a long week.
The
And the middle,
middle will be where that GPS correlates to like a Google Maps. It'd be the location where that page is.
and the third.
And it's at the time that it was recorded.
And will this assist the jury in understanding your testimony about where this car traveled based upon all that information you just provided to us?
Yes, sir.
And you are the author of this report and the information that came from it,
Yes, sir.
all from that search warrant and those devices that we discussed, right?
Yes, sir.
That were connected to the car.
Right.
You would understand Exhibit 54.
Yeah, we have to approach again. Okay, an issue is being addressed on the admissibility of this information, this data that the witness is speaking about, and this is downloading of electronic data from a vehicle. And believe that and the objection is hearsay, which may be. The definition of hearsay is a statement that the declarant does not make while testifying at the current trial hearing, and a party offers it in evidence to prove the truth of the matter asserted in the statement. The interesting phenomenon we're dealing with is electronic data, not people's statements. For this court's satisfaction, believe that the admissibility is all going to be based upon the witness's ability from experience and training to state that the data is made accurately and that it is the downloading of the data is done in a way that the accuracy of the data that is compiled in the unit, the vehicle, is not changed in any way. And humans are not being involved in this, so we can't cross-examine the data processing of the vehicle. But I believe that it is admissible if the elements of accuracy and the foundation that the data is not only accurate, but what is downloaded is in a way that the accuracy from the data that was compiled at the time it was being compiled is not changed.
Your Honor, I will also, I am submitting him as an expert in dealing with these kind of issues, which opens up even more opportunities for its admissibility. So allow me to establish.
Well, I think it's going to have to be presented through a person who has special knowledge and training, because I don't.
Yes, sir.
And I'm pretty educated, but this I don't. And as long as that's clear, and that again, he's trained in the ability to take that data and present it to a jury, that it is accurate and has not been changed, and he is skilled and trained on analyzing and downloading and compiling the data for presentation, and it is an accurate representation of what was compiled, which is compiled in the data system in an accurate fashion based upon modern electronics and that's really the test: accuracy and probativeness, that it will help the jury make a decision of an issue in this case.
Yes.
Okay. But it's a new one. Well, again, 20 years and 600 plus jury trials. I've never had this type of evidence presented, but it doesn't mean that it's not capable of being admissible. So go ahead.
Do you understand the legal issue we're talking about here?
I don't say so.
Have you testified in court before about these particular issues?
Never, Albert.
All right, so it's first time for you too.
Yes.
So let's get a little more detailed then about your training.
Right.
What kind of training do you have to do this particular task that we're asking you to testify about?
Say 40-hour week-long school, 8 hours a day. So we would come in. They would have different infotainment systems from different models of cars. They first taught us about the verbal program, how to use it, how to set it up. And then we would practice extracting the data from the different models. We were provided a Burlow kit that had the PC boards that would be connected to the PC boards of the infotainment systems. Some models there's a manufacturer code that you would use on the screen, and you would tap this code that's separate from everything else, and you could get the data from putting a USB into the auxiliary and download it from there. So different models have different.
You've done the technical training to know how to do it. Have you maintained that training?
Up until I left on my PD.
Would that include?
It'll be in a few days, it'll be a year.
Did that include the relevant time frame for when you recovered this information?
Yes.
In your training, did they talk about making sure that the information was accurate?
Yes, sir. It's in these programs, outside of changing the time to make it easier for the investigators to see for the time frame of where you are. And, because we could download this for a department on the West Coast or on the East Coast or where we are.
Okay.
And so outside of that, you can't manipulate any data that comes from the extraction.
So the only thing you can change is how to read the time.
Yes,
Nobody can change any of the other information.
yes, that's embedded into the infotainment system from the vehicle. The only thing we're doing with the information is extracting it into a file that we can then go through and check certain dates, times, what the track logs were for that day, what if any phones were connected, if any call logs or anything came from that day. So we can check the information and download, but we can't change anything.
None of the data can be changed
None of the data.
through your method of extraction.
Yes, sir.
Right. So
Okay.
you can guarantee to the court and to the jury whenever you testify in front of them that this information is what it is. You didn't change anything other than the times to help explain it to the jury, but you can't change the location or anything else.
No, sir.
And according to your training, that this information is accurate.
Yes, sir.
It is generated not by a person, but by the computer system,
Right,
right?
right. And GPS system, global satellite positioning system, which in the school, they said according to the United States government is 95% accurate.
So when you're offering this opinion, you're offering your opinion based upon your training and the technical data that you've reviewed based upon it,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
You're not going to any outside source and determining it, adding stuff into it, are you?
No, sir.
And in your experience, even though this is your first time to testify, have you been called upon to do this more than one occasion?
Yes.
How many occasions?
I've attempted personally, roughly 9 acquisitions, 2 of which have been successful.
All right, explain that.
Not every vehicle has the capability of having data extracted from it.
Okay.
So certain models, certain years, things like that. So we've had 2 that were within that capability of being extracted.
All right. So my words, it sounds like you got access to 9 vehicles, but 2 were only successful in actually retrieving information.
Yes.
The process worked in each one, you just couldn't get to the information?
Some of the other vehicles, for whatever reason, different manufacturers have different security as far as Burley being able to use their process to extract data from it. And so that's why the first thing I had to do in this case was to check the VIN through Burley to make sure it was capable through Burley's web.
So before you prepared this report, I'm assuming you had raw data that you got from the car.
Yes.
Could you turn that raw data over to another individual with same or similar training like you, and they can come up with the same or similar opinion?
Yes.
So today, if we wanted to check to determine whether or not you were telling the truth, we could bring in a third party that could review it and give whatever opinion.
Yes. Because again, the information is going to be the same.
And that expert, that person with the same technical training and you, they would rely upon the same information you looked at to give the opinion you're about to give.
Yes.
For your reference, Judge, I'm looking at 703 for that set of questions. Up to your opinion, will this be helpful for the jury to understand the raw data that you pulled from the car to describe where it was during the relevant time frame of March 26th through the 27th as reported from that system?
Yes.
All right, so let's make a comparison to Silver. You've been qualified to do that type of testimony, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So celebrate, sir.
Is that what got you interested in this?
Yes.
How does it work for getting introduction of Silverite evidence?
It's a same process. The owner of Birdwood worked for Cellbrite for a very long time. So his program is set up very similar to Cellbrite. So we would just extract the information from the phone and then generate a report in any time frame that a crime was committed that we could get some information from that phone or might have information on that phone. We would then search to that extraction to see if anything, if at all, match that and then generate a report with that.
So when you do your Silverite report, you're just telling either the law enforcement agency and or the courts or attorneys that this is the information that you got from the cell phone.
Yes, sir.
And you detail it out in reports as to all the different information, correct?
Yes.
And that's been tested before, has it not?
Yes.
It's been determined to be accurate, has it not?
Yes, sir.
And you've testified about in courts about that information and the extraction that you've done before.
Yes.
Been qualified as an expert in that regard?
Yes.
On how many occasions?
Oh, one case. For a second.
Are you still keeping that part of your business?
I'm still certified. I have to do a reevaluation course. But this certification is still there. I don't have to research.
So you've done both. I haven't. Are they very similar trainings?
Yes, sir.
Is the process similar as far as that is concerned?
Yes, sir. You picture, if you want an example, you can take an infotainment system and a phone, and it's the same pretty much aspect.
And again, it doesn't come from an individual. It comes from the system that in the past has been proven to be truthful and accurate, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what you were taught in your training, yes? Just like the Cellbrite.
Just fine.
Yeah, that's the basis of what we're offering this. I know that Mr. Burbank would like to ask questions.
Yeah, just clarify one other thing for me.
Yes, sir.
The essence of this data that you're attempting to introduce, it's geographical locations of the vehicle?
Along with timestamps as to when and where it was there.
Okay.
And that comes from the three Bluetooth connected items that are there.
Okay. And then that data that's being compiled, location, time, it's electronically and satellite related, but it, from your experience and training, is what's being placed into the vehicle, into the unit that's uh, that is keeping the data or storing the data from your experience and training is not changed in any way, but is an accurate representation of the source that's being transmitted into the vehicle. And then the extraction is not changed. It's a true and accurate representation of what's in the vehicle and what has been compiled at the source point.
Yes,
All of that is unchanged and true and correct.
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Officer, basically all you're doing is retrieving information from a computer in the car, correct?
Yes, sir.
That information is coming from an outside source into that car. Agreed?
The car's recording it from
An outside
GPS.
source. You've never done any research or have done any examination of how that information is processed, have you?
From the GPS satellites to inside the vehicle.
And how it's stored and how
Outside of the course, giving us examples of how accurate it is. No, sir, I have not personally.
And so you rely upon a third party to make sure that that information is accurate that's coming back to the car.
I just relied on the verbal program.
Right, but you don't know how, whether or not at the time that machine or computer, whatever it is, it was functioning accurately, right? Because you don't have any control over that, right?
Outside of the extraction, that's all.
Right. That's what I'm saying is that somewhere this information has to be stored and processed, and so to give you the information that you're downloading.
It's stored on the PCM stuff too.
You said that, and you rely upon it, but you don't know whether or not it was stored in the normal course of business or whether it's accurate. You take whatever it gives you when you download it.
I don't change anything.
Okay. Yeah, Coach Judge.
All right.
I received some correspondence through Discovery. Are you familiar with that, officer?
I'm not sure who, I know who Chad is, but I've never seen this.
Does it have to do with the download of the borough that you testified to?
Does this have to do with what I downloaded?
Yes. Does it appear?
It appears that, maybe Chad asking some questions
Okay.
about Berla.
Okay. And one of the things is, it says, I have a question about Burl, correct? I am tracking this car as it moves throughout the area, but I have surveillance video of the car sitting at a place for an hour. It's contradicting. Is there any reason to explain this? Could be tracking a cell phone.
What's your question?
Well, somebody's saying something's wrong here because the car is sitting in one place and it says it's going other places.
I couldn't tell you what Mr. Williams is talking about.
Well, you would agree, you know, Chad Williamson, right?
I met him for the person with.
Yeah, he was here just
Yes,
a
sir.
second. And Scott Vaughn. Who's Scott Vaughn?
He appears to be someone with birth.
Oh, so this correspondence is actually with Burrow.
Yes, not me.
Oh, and so they're saying, hey, why is this contradicting? Why, right?
That's what Chad asking.
Yeah, I'm tracking something and it's contradicting. What's going on?
I couldn't answer that.
So someone else, and that's Burr Corporation in Annapolis, Maryland.
So their house.
That's where it is.
Yes, sir.
So a law enforcement officer that just testified before you has questions of whether or not it's accurate or not. That's what it appears, right?
It would appear that, yeah.
So the person that would probably be the best to determine the accuracy of the information that you received would probably be Scott Bond of Borough in Indianapolis now. Of
I'm
the
not sure,
corporation.
I'm not sure how he responded to that.
Yeah, but that's probably, well, let me take a step back. It appears that the lead detective in this criminal, this crime, contacted Burley, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he contacted a Scott Bond associated with that corporation, correct? And in it, it says, if this isn't adding up, it's contradicting the information I have. Can you explain it to me?
Okay.
Is that what it appears?
As it appears, yes.
For information or for this hearing, Judge, I will mark this, I guess, defendants 2, which is correspondence from Chad Williamson, who said he was the lead detective in this case, to Scott Vaughn with the corporation back on May 10th of 2022. Subject to any objections. Well, it's
For this hearing?
It's for this hearing.
Yeah. Did you want
I don't have a statement.
to? It's admitted for the purpose of this hearing. Anything else? Yes, no? Nothing else? No. Okay, anything else? That's fine. The jury's going to get to decide the weight, credibility of the evidence. This witness, you stand by your testimony that you've mentioned today, and you can certainly present contrary evidence during this trial if the defense wants to, or on cross-examination. But the court finds that from this witness, this method of extracting data is accurate. It's relied upon in the business affairs for its accuracy, and it is used in a regular fashion, and that the data that it compiles, the electronic data compiled in the vehicle, is extracted from the vehicle and is the same data that's being compiled when it's extracted for use in presentations such as this in court. And so the court finds it's reliable and relevant, and it is admissible. Bring the jury in. Thank you.
Judge, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I anticipate that the defense will have questions for this witness. And based upon the hour, my preference is for us to break and bring this witness back Monday when we resume. It's been a long week already, and we know we're going to get into Monday. I'm
Bring
going to ask that
the
you
bring the jury in.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. We'll bring you back Monday.
He said he was willing.
Never mind.
Want to remind you we have nothing. We cleared it.
Okay, so we'll be cleaning up and knowledge on it.
8:30. Let me down. Your
Oh,
call.
yeah, yeah. Why don't you help push those guys?
If I could, I would. Did you go over the already?
Yeah. Just everybody stand up. This is going to be quick.
Okay.
We're going to release you here. I just want to give you some instructions. Morning. Okay. We're going to break, ladies and gentlemen. We had to take up some matters. It's outside the presence of the jury. That has been done. And we're going to break for not only this evening, but the weekend. I'm going to ask you to return back at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock on Monday. I've moved all the other matters so that we can get into this on 9 o'clock. Please remember the instructions the court has given to you. We'll see you back Monday at 9 o'clock and have a good weekend. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, those tags keep showing up at Rayo's and Carrabba's. That's apparently jurors' favorite places. Thank you. All right, anything to bring up? State, defense? Yes?
Thank you, Judge.
No?
Nothing.
We're in recess till Monday. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice weekend.